Hello everybody, welcome back. We are in the double digits. It's day 10 and I have a fun one to be reviewing today. This one I've tried before in the past and I feel like there are certain videos where it'll just live on my YouTube channel for years and years, and people who are like stans of the brand, you know, like they just love whatever they put out regardless of if it's good or not. They always come around to these types of videos and they say, you're doing it wrong, you're putting on too much, this is a sunscreen. I talked about that previously and I just have a feeling that this one's gonna be like that because we're talking about the Colorescience today. This is the do they call it yeah. They always call it this silly name. Well, I think it's silly. Sunforgettable, Sunforgettable Total Protection Face Shield Flex, SPF 50. So this is the one, if you have seen any of the Colorescience videos, I'm pretty sure I reviewed this in the past. This one starts off white and then they say that it like changes depending and like auto corrects to your skin tone, which is not true. Just spoiler alert, it doesn't go for all skin tones. It's not possible. But we're gonna get into all of that. We're gonna get into the specs. We're gonna get into the finish, the tone, the overcast. Wait, am I talking about the weather? White cast? There we go. Tone, did I say that? Yes. All of it. We're gonna get into it right now. I am jibber jabbering away and let's just get into the review and put it on my face. So let's go. Okay, so I've done this before. For certain sunscreens, there's a correct way, and I always use air quotes because skincare and makeup and all these types of things, there's really no correct way, but at the same time with sunscreen, you do need a certain amount. Now, of course, everyone's face is gonna differ in size. Some people have smaller, some people have larger, but within reason, most people's faces aren't gonna be like massive, like the size of a horse or something. So the recommended amount is 1/4 teaspoon. And the reason that is so is because there's supposed to be a certain thickness, like I believe it's 2 centimeters per 2 square inch. And I'm gonna butcher it. Let me go look it up before I butcher it. I knew I was gonna butcher it. 2 milligrams of sunscreen per square centimeter of skin. So I am not a math person. That's why I just go with 1/4 teaspoon, because a lot of people have measured their face. They've done all the specs so that to get that 2 millimeters of sunscreen per 2 square centimeters of skin, it basically equals out to be 1/4 teaspoon. So all that to say, this sunscreen is not really like, it doesn't work like that. This sunscreen, similar to some of the others I've reviewed and others on my channel, I think of this as makeup. It has SPF 50 in it, which is great. It also is water and sweat resistant for 40 minutes, also great. But if you're using 1/4 teaspoon, it's probably too much, especially for me. I don't like a lot of coverage in terms of makeup. So I'm gonna show you on one side of my face how I would wear it if I was just like wanting to look decent. And then I'm gonna show you again the correct way. So that's how we're gonna do it. That's what we're doing. If you're gonna come and comment on this video that I'm not doing it correctly, please just reference what I just said. I don't need to fight with you. You are getting SPF protection if you're wearing less of it, but you're not getting the full protection. So that's the caveat. You're not, and people will say like, I didn't burn, my face didn't get burnt with this. Totally fair, because you're probably getting SPF 20, maybe a little higher, I don't know. But that is for UVB. So I always think of UVB burning, UVA aging. So you may not see the UVA damage that you're getting just because that doesn't happen immediately. But over time, if you were to use a lot less than you should, you may see that UVA damage sooner, but you may never burn. So keep that in mind. Okay, it's a very long intro. We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna put 1/8 teaspoon. So this is half of my normal amount because I'm only doing half of my face. And as always, nothing on my face, no skincare, no serums, no moisturizer. And I have normal combo skin, not even combo, but in the T-zone, it gets combo when the weather gets warmer. So on this side, we're gonna be putting the whole 1/8 teaspoon. Okay, this is the Colorescience Sunforgettable Total Protection Face Shield Flex SPF 50. It retails for $58, comes in 1.8 fluid ounces or 55 milliliters, a little bit more than your standard amount, and it comes in 6 different shades. We have the shades from fair to rich deep, and I have the shade medium, which I'm going to talk about in a second. This one has UVA protection rating of PA4+, which is exciting to see because a lot of brands in the US don't do that, and then a UVB protection of SPF 50. And like I said before, it's also water resistant for 40 minutes. So I guess the part of the thing with this sunscreen is that it has encapsulated pigments, which they say adjust to your skin's natural tone. It's hydrating, antioxidant rich formula. And then they say that it's free of parabens, sulfates, phthalates, oils, dyes, and fragrance. They also say it's 100% chemical-free active ingredient, which is false. 100%. Like, they call out the one thing that they are guilty, not just they, but a lot of brands are guilty of, because this does have butylloctyl salicylate in it. As far as their other ingredients, this one has 12% zinc oxide, and like I said, butylloctyl salicylate. There are quite a few other ingredients, but nothing really stands out to me. Okay, and on the other side of my face, I could probably just use what's on my fingers. So I'm gonna start with that, and then I'm gonna add a little bit more, kind of just a little dab will do ya. Okay, that is how much I would prefer to put on, just because I don't like super full, like high coverage makeup. And I want to show you the difference. Missed a spot right there on my tip of my nose. So on camera, the side doesn't look as bad, especially if you because the tone now is the same. I feel like you can't necessarily see how much coverage I have, but in person, this side to me is way more natural, obviously, like less coverage. And this is what I would prefer, just like 1, 2, 3 little dots. But of course, that's not gonna be getting SPF 50, so I don't love that. But I'm gonna go wash my hands because I can't do anything. And then we're gonna come back and talk through the rest of it. Okay, so let's talk about this sunscreen. Now, first off, I wanna talk about the shade. They do have 6 shades. I got the shade medium, which astounds me. Like, what was I thinking? I'm never a medium. Like, I am a light medium, even light medium at my tannest. Now, I will say that it kind of works, but I don't even feel like I like my face to look this dark. So this was a fail on my behalf. I'm gonna look into I know I bought it from Colorescience, so I may see if I can exchange it for the second shade. I think it was or Fair Light or whatever, but this shade's not for me, and that's just my own fault. As far as the finish for this one, I would say it has a pretty natural finish, a little bit radiant depending on your skin type. I do have a little bit of a glow, but it's nothing so glowy, but it also is not like completely matte at all. They do have a radiant, like more like highlighter version, and then they also have a matte version. So if you do kind of want to veer toward one side, you can get that. But this one is supposed to be just kind of more your natural finish. As far as skin type, I think this one, again, I've said this before, but I feel like a lot of skin types could use this. It's not really anything like so spectacularly dewy or matte. So I think it really depends on what you're wearing underneath, especially if you're not wearing this at the full amount and you're wearing it kind of more in just like a few little dabs. You could really do whatever you want. You would be able to powder over top and it would look fine, or you could load up on skincare underneath and make it a little bit glowier. So really, I think quite flexible in terms of skin type. As far as scent, I don't really smell anything. If anything, it may smell like a little bit more like a mineral sunscreen, which, you know, it is, but I don't get any added fragrance from it. As far as how it feels on my face, because I feel like a lot of people want to know about that, especially when you're putting a lot on, like this side. This side can feel quite heavy, and it also doesn't ever feel like it sets on me. I would be able to set it if I just used some powder, but like on its own with my normal skin type, it's not going to set, which is going to lead me to the transfer test that I'm going to do in a second. But I do feel like it's there, and like I could never wear a white shirt with this sunscreen. I just know that, well, from previous experience, it transfers quite a bit. You're gonna get that ring around the collar. If you have a collared shirt, it'll rub off on that. it just doesn't set unless you fully powder your face. So it feels a little heavy, you know, it doesn't feel like it's gonna, and it does feel like it is gonna move around quite a bit. Okay, let's do a transfer test because I have this very clean new tissue, and especially with sunscreens like this, I like to do a transfer test. I mean, I think with most sunscreens, especially mineral, you're gonna get some transfer, but when it has this much coverage and when you get the wrong shade like me, you just wanna see. So I'm gonna put it right here, and I have not done any makeup. Yep, okay. Let's try the other side, or let's turn it over and try the side with a little bit less foundation or makeup or sunscreen. Yeah, but it just depends on, like, I mean, we got less transfer from the side with less sunscreen, and then more the side with more. So that is a transfer test. I knew it wasn't going to be transfer free. That's why I really caution you when you're wearing like a collared shirt. This is going to come off on it. If you're wearing a white shirt, you're just going to have sunscreen everywhere. Anyway, let's now do the tint and see what the oxidation looks like, because this one is my favorite. I've already seen it oxidize on my face, but I want to show you what it looks like kind of in real time. Okay, so this is the swatch that I put on probably 10-15 minutes ago, and you can see that it has, even like this part where it has dried a little bit more, is turning quite orange. And then we will put the fresh one on, and this is a little harder because it does have this capsulized pigments that go from white to the color, but you can still see how different a shade it is in the beginning toward when it actually oxidizes and changes. So this is freshly applied. This is after about 10 minutes. Again, I got the wrong shade, so this is not my shade, but I just want to show you what it looks like. Okay, so let me tell you my final thoughts on this. Now, I've had times where people, you know, people really love certain brands, and I never understand that. Maybe because I review so many brands that I'm like, I don't have time to love a certain brand. Now, I guess if I'm going to love a few, I do love like Prequel. I love, that's the first one that comes to mind. I almost love every single one of their products, but I'm still not gonna get mad if somebody talks crap about it. And I'm not trying to talk crap about Colorescience. I think this sunscreen is an award-winning, cult classic, beauty favorite for a reason. I think it's just a simple thing. It's makeup, it's sunscreen, it works well, it looks nice when you're using less of it. So I understand that. It's just not a full sunscreen. People are probably not gonna be putting this amount on. It's just what it is. And if you are, bravo, brava. I love that for you, I love it. But I just don't think most people are doing that. Even myself, like if I didn't have the 1/4 teaspoon and I was just eyeballing it, I probably wouldn't put enough on. And you may not burn. I've heard that from a lot of people saying like, I wore this to the beach and I didn't burn. But burning is, again, not the only concern when you're thinking of skincare and sunscreen. It's also anti-aging, so keep that in mind. But I do think if you are the kind of person who really likes a no-fuss, one-stop shop type of thing, this is a very good option. I just caution you, if you're using this as your sole sunscreen, you're probably not getting SPF 50. You will be getting some protection, it just may not be the SPF 50 that you want. So keep that in mind. I think otherwise it's a beautiful thing. Probably get the right shade, unlike me. I don't know how that happened. It's very frustrating, especially because I don't have time to return it and get the correct shade for this video. But it is a good option, and I'm excited to get the correct one, and maybe stay tuned for after 14 days of sunscreen, and I'll get the right one and I'll like actually show you and review it with the correct shade. So with all that said, I think you know who you are. If this appeals to you, I would say by all means go get it. It is a little pricey, but you know, this is what you're looking for, then it's something that you should invest in. So I will see you tomorrow for day 11. We'll be back then, and I can't wait to see you then. Bye.